Bad relationships happen to all of us. Nobody wants them, but they happen. We don't seek out those toxic situations, but sometimes it's hard to see beyond the blinding lights of attraction, desire, and infatuation that we mistake for love. When some time has passed without meeting anyone, but your desire is still there, and suddenly you meet someone you click with and you experience that infatuation, it's very hard to walk away. No matter how loud some alarms might sound or how red some warning signs might get. And I get it. I've been there a few times. I went through it. I suffered. I learned. And I understood that I shouldn't have stayed in those harmful relationships longer than I should have. The truth is that we've all been there at some point, and in a way it's necessary in order to learn. But if you want to succeed in your love life and avoid learning through the pain of heartbreak, you need to prepare yourself better to choose wisely. And by this, I mean doing the constant inner work, like what we do in Constellation and in all my courses, so that through the development of awareness and several other things, such as, for example, a good level of self-love, good self-esteem, and things like that, you can choose someone from a healthy place, someone who has done their inner work and who also wants what you want. And what's more important, someone who loves you for the kind of person you've built yourself to be. If you don't do this, you'll probably be like most people who have to beg for love, beg for it. You have to chase someone just to get their attention, and you'll end up believing that true love doesn't exist just because you keep meeting painful teachers who are inviting you to wake up and work on yourself. But no matter what level of awareness you're at today, I want to help you improve yourself and make your relationships better. So here's a list of non-negotiable warning signs that you should keep in mind when you meet. These are red flags that you shouldn't ignore, because if you do, you'll face a lot of serious consequences. The number one red flag or warning sign is that this person is a bundle of problems and complaints. If you feel a lot of chemistry with that person you're dating and you like them, but you realize they're always complaining or always involved in problems, be very careful, because that's the kind of warning sign many people ignore and end up thinking they can help or rescue the other person. I've heard more than 100 times from people who say, if only I could help him conquer his demons, then we would have an amazing relationship. But that's not your partner's responsibility or yours. Everyone has to deal with their own demons, their problems, and their inner emptiness. If a person puts every ounce of themselves into helping someone else, most likely they'll end up with their heart absolutely broken. If someone needs to be fixed before they can become someone you can date or have a relationship with, then that's not the relationship for you. You need to move on because you want a life partner, not a child. You have to help fix their life, right? The second sign is that the person is very jealous. Look, a little jealousy, when expressed well, can be sweet and even a bit endearing. But if that person goes crazy every time they assume something about you, then they have issues and you should stay far away. Only a very insecure person would feel flattered by someone else's jealous outburst. So, losing their mind every time you mention someone's name or when you look at someone isn't romantic. It's unhealthy, it's controlling it, and it's a sign of many more alarming problems that will inevitably take a toll on you. So please, just get out of there. I'm not going to address this sign any further because I have a whole episode about jealousy here on the podcast called The Origin of Jealousy and how to handle it. In case you want to watch it and learn more about that, It's there. But jealousy will never be a sign of love. They're actually a sign of unresolved insecurities. The third sign, or red flag number three, is when that person tells you they want to go with the flow or that they don't want a relationship right now. Look, I've said it a million times, and I'll say it a million more until everyone gets it. If a person, especially a man, says he wants to go with the flow, it means he doesn't want a committed relationship. And if he makes it even clearer by telling you that he doesn't want a relationship right now, then you have to believe him. Then, for not believing him, you end up with a broken heart and blame him. But the blame is absolutely yours because he was clear about his intentions. Most of the time, when someone says those kinds of things, it means they don't want a relationship, or at least not with you. However, he stays there and doesn't leave, and he keeps reaching out to you because he likes you, because he's attracted to you, because he enjoys your company, because he likes sex, or because he doesn't have anyone else to spend time with at that moment. And that's why he keeps you close, or at least keeps you close until someone better comes along, or until he gets tired of you or gets his fill of you. That's why you should realize it now. Or, of course, it could also happen that maybe he likes you, but he really thinks it's not the right time. Or that he's going through a stage in life dealing with certain challenges or emotional problems. And he simply can't give you the commitment you want. And even though this might hurt your ego less than what I mentioned before, you still need to walk away and do it quickly. Because the longer you stay in that almost relationship, the more time you'll waste and the harder it will be for you to get out of the situation. You can't fix or change someone else to fix it. O cambiar a otra persona. You can't force someone to feel what you want them to feel. Just accept what is and move on with your head held high. Sign number 4 is that this person is selfish. Everything revolves around him or her. It's all about him or it's all about her. If you text him and he doesn't reply for hours or days, that's totally fine. But if you don't reply to him immediately, if you don't answer a text right away, whew, it's a problem. That person needs you to be there when he wants, and it bothers him if you ask him to be there for you. The relationship seems to revolve only around his needs, his schedule, his agenda, and never around you. There's no room for you. There's no room for what you want. And basically, you're a nobody in that relationship. If that sounds familiar to you, and it applies to your situation, you need to walk away and work on yourself because I don't know why you're accepting that. A relationship includes two people, not just one. Romantic love should be mutual, not one sided. Am I being clear about this? So I'll repeat it to you. You want a partner who loves you and puts in the same effort as you do. You don't want a little child, right? Sign number 5 is that he doesn't want the same things as you. Chemistry can only take you so far in a relationship. But for that relationship to last and go further, you need to have shared values. I mean, a similar vision of life and a common way of making that vision a reality. Everyone values different things. And that's why it's important to have these conversations with that person to see if you're on the same page and get aligned. If that person doesn't want what you want, like for example, the same type of relationship, or doesn't want to have children, or doesn't want to manage finances in a way that's compatible with you, or doesn't want to live in a certain that's suitable for both of you, or things like that, then it's better to end that relationship before going any deeper. Because a team should aim to achieve the same goals, even if there are different roles. If that person wants one goal and you want another, then you can't be a team because you'll always be playing different games. So that's not it. Get out as soon as possible. Sign number 6 is that you can't really be yourself in their company. If you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells and the relationship is very fragile and that your true self isn't good enough for that person, and if you have to pretend and act a certain way or say certain things to keep the peace and harmony, then that person isn't for you. With the right person, you feel comfortable and at ease. You can simply be yourself. And this doesn't mean you shouldn't improve certain things about yourself. But that person already knows you and accepts you with your strengths and weaknesses, admiring your strengths and helping you shine a light on those shadows. But if you're constantly nervous and it's not because of your own insecurities, then that person isn't for you and brings out a very nervous version of yourself. Sign number 7, or red flag number 7, is that they don't make you a priority in their life. Let's understand that each person's number one priority should be themselves. And this isn't out of selfishness, but out of self love. So you can be well on your own and connect well with everything else. So, the reality that your partner, even though they can't be your number one priority, should still be treated as a priority because they're your companion and life partner. If you feel like you're not a priority and that you're more like fourth or fifth place, then it's probably because you really are in that fourth or fifth place. A person only makes someone else a priority when they have genuine interest. When someone doesn't treat another person as a priority, but just keeps them around because they like them and enjoy certain things, they're not committed to that relationship. They're just looking for pleasure. If you're always in fourth or fifth place compared to other people or their life, it means that person isn't interested enough in you to have a loyal, committed, and formal relationship. And so for you, it's going to be better to move on. The eighth red flag is that he's married or in a relationship with someone else. And this might seem obvious, but I have to include it because there are so many people who write to me all the time with situations like the one I'm telling you about, where they have relationships with men who are already committed to someone else. Ladies, in these situations, nobody wins. Not you, not the wife or girlfriend, not the guy in question either. And the other woman, that is, you listening to me, almost never comes out on top in these cases. If he's with someone else, no matter how sweetly he talks to you, or how romantic he is, or how many things he gives or promises you, you need to run far away from that person. And I'm going to tell you again, this kind of thing and these situations never ever end well. And I don't care how much you like them, how good they make you feel, or how good the sex is with that person. You're better than that, and you deserve someone better. And deep down, I know you know it. Sign number 9 is that you don't trust him. Trust is essential for a relationship to survive. And if you're constantly suspicious or have trouble believing him, well, that's a big red flag that something is wrong. Now, let me clarify. I'm saying this assuming you're not a generally distrustful person. If that's the case, then you should work on yourself and your own insecurities instead. But if it's because that person makes you feel distrustful because of how they act, it's better to get out of there because nothing good can come from a place where there is no trust. Sign number 10 is that they don't take responsibility for anything. If everything seems to be your fault and he or she never acknowledges their responsibility, their part in the story, or the things they do, well, that's a very important warning sign. And I want to remind you that you are not responsible for the entire relationship or for someone else's emotional well being. And if any conflict in that relationship or the negative emotions that person experiences are considered your fault, walk away before it's too late. Because this is not only something that can reveal that the person is emotionally immature, but it can also be a major sign of narcissism. And sign number 11 is that you simply feel it deep down. Inside you, there's a voice desperately trying to tell you that this isn't it. So don't silence or ignore that voice and listen to what it has to say, because deep down, maybe you already know the truth. And you can save yourself a world of anguish and pain if you listen to it. Ignoring the warning signs you see from the beginning is probably the worst thing you can do for yourself right now. Because believe me, they never turn green, they never change. And generally, the warning signs you see at the beginning become the reasons why you leave later on. No tajo, just because you want to be in a one-tested relationship or want to feel less alone, so it doesn't mean you should lie to yourself about what you're seeing or about what all your loved ones are telling you or about what you really know deep down. Your instinct is usually right. And that initial feeling you get that something isn't right, or that pause that happens when you see or hear something about the other person that makes you uncomfortable, really does turn out to being true. It ends up telling you that something is wrong. And over time, you realize that you were being lied to and manipulated. And those are feelings you shouldn't ignore because they tell you everything you need to know. And eventually, it becomes very hard to overlook them. Ignoring the warning signs is only going to hurt you because you'll stay in a relationship where you won't get what you want. And you'll always feel unsatisfied that you're lowering your standards or that you're letting a lot of toxic things happen to you. And that ends up keeping you from giving unconditional love or loving freely and trusting the other person. And it ends up hurting you deeply and turning you into a very different version of yourself. A defensive, shut down, doubtful version that's ready to throw in the towel at any moment, or could even make you think you're not enough and want to end your life because of it. And I'm not saying there shouldn't be differences or challenges in your healthy relationships. That's normal. And it helps the relationship grow. But what's not normal is knowing that that's not what you deserve, that it's not love, that it's actually lack of love, and that there's a lot of disrespect in how you're being treated, and that you don't do anything about it. What's not normal is allowing someone else to make you believe that that's all you deserve, that that's all someone can give you, and that that's love. What's not normal is allowing someone else to make you feel unworthy or unloved, and that you can't communicate your needs because you're considered a dramatic person just for saying it. What's not normal is someone making you feel like you're asking for too much, when in reality, all you're asking for is the bare minimum. So it's better to let go of those who make you feel hard to love or make you feel like a burden. Believe me, letting them go is the best choice you can make. And the sooner you do it, the better. The more red flags you ignore, the more time you'll waste and the more self-esteem you'll lose. Because, believe me, ignoring the red flags just because you like someone is going to affect you enormously. You deserve much more than that. You deserve not to question what someone feels for you or question how much they want you in their life. And if applying all this is very hard for you and getting out of a toxic relationship or a narcissistic abuse situation is even harder, then there is a lot of work we can do and that you have to do yourself. And I can help you if you want. Simply and with proven. Stay tuned to my social media for upcoming courses, workshops, and new spots in my mentoring program, Constellation. Do it because you deserve a love that brings no doubts or fears, a love that no one has to rescue you from. And stay tuned, not just to heal, but so that you really can. Social media, a love that no one has to rescue you from and that you don't have to heal from, but that you can truly enjoy. See you in the next video. spots